Good morning, family. So my name is Tiara Ingram. I am an 8th grade and Algebra 1 teacher at John Hayden Johnson Middle School in Washington, D.C. And last summer, I had the opportunity of writing a unit, sounds like a thesis, I should probably change the title, Closing Deficits Exponentially, addressing base 10 and small numbers using exponents. What I thought was gonna be an amazing experience for my students actually turned out to be more of a learning experience for myself. So I stand by my statement that being a math teacher in Rogers Seminar, it makes you question if you should be a math teacher at all. But I'm very happy that I didn't switch my content area. I got a lot smarter because of Roger. This was my first experience going beyond unpacking and backwards planning. But instead we were diving into why and how, all pun intended, complex math ideas were developed. My unit highlighted how misunderstood mathematical ideas are actually evolved from elementary concepts. I explored the 5 stages of place value, first developed by none other than Roger Howe and Susanna Epps. In non-math terms, we looked at multi-digit numbers and each of the digits place value to establish the structures of the numbers and how it related to exponents in scientific notation, which is usually taught in 8th grade. It was brilliant, so brilliant that when I wrote my unit, I wrote it with not only my middle school students in mind, but my then 8-year-old daughter in mind, who I actually taught the 5 stages of place value, and she knows how to write in scientific notation. Very proud of that. It was important because I wanted them to just have a different experience. I wanted them to not be anxious or afraid of coming to math class. I created a menu of games, activities, and error analysis to push their understanding to the maximum. That's a math joke, no? Okay. My experience at Y&I has forever changed me, not only as a teacher, but as a parent and a lover of all things math. All things. I'm grateful to be able to share my experience with my students. And in math class, the greatest way to prove your understanding is to show your work. And there's no other way for me to justify what Y&I has done for me. So please allow me to introduce a product of my Y&I experience, a student who I believe can provide that justification, Ms. Tianny T.T. Taylor.
Good morning, all. My name is Tianny Taylor, a 9th grade student at McKinley Technology located in Washington, D.C. I met Ms. Ingram last year when I was an 8th grade student at John Hayden Johnson Middle School. Although I didn't know her, I was elated she was my teacher. You see, the class before mine didn't have a positive experience in their math class, and to be quite honest, I prepared myself for the same. Nonetheless, we hit the ground running. I can vividly remember her writing a 3-digit number on the board and telling the class, take the next 10 minutes and come up with different ways to create this number. That was probably the only time that her class was dead silent. She walked around asking questions that helped get us started. We worked diligently for the next 8 minutes. After spending 2 minutes in a complete state of confusion, I promise you, we were not prepared for what came next. We spent the next 30 minutes decomposing that number and learning how the very makeup of that number was connected to exponents and scientific notation. It was this experience and other experiences in her class that made it so interesting. There were a variety of activities, games, and questions that she used to make connections with what we knew and to keep us fully engaged. One of the fun activities we did was pass the marker. My first experience with this activity was when we were trying to figure out negative and zero exponents. We could not make sense of the numbers with negative exponents suddenly becoming fractions, or the numbers with zero exponents always becoming 1. We competed by class, and although our class couldn't get it together to win, every student knew why the numbers with the negative exponents suddenly became a fraction and why any number to the power of 0 was 1. Opting out was not an option, not only because of the culture of the classroom, but simply because the lessons and units we created in a way that made us feel like we weren't in math class. The pressure of going to math class just didn't exist. She made us feel like we belonged and we wanted to be there. Each student was capable and created their own unique experience in her class. Did you know that your heart beats approximately 80 times a minute? That's 8 times 10 to the 1 in scientific notation. At that rate, your hearts beat 4.8 times 10 to the power of 3 beats per hour, and an amazing 115,200 times per day. That's 1.152 times 10 to the power of 5 in scientific notation. Or did you know that approximately 6.1 times 10 to the power of 5 people die from heart disease every year? That's about 1 in 4 deaths in the United States. These may seem like regular facts to you, but the context of these facts is now easier to comprehend. No number is too big or too small to understand. Now, I'm sure Ms. Ingram has always been a great teacher, but I do know that this program and Professor Mr. Howe, who she talked about all the time, made her a great teacher. I'm grateful because it made me a better student, and I thank you for that opportunity. I will take the lessons learned from her class and pursue my dreams of becoming the first generation college student and cardiologist. Thank you.